Hi guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. This is Niyoshi here. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about the top 10 things which I have accomplished in the past 6 months. So right now I'm already starting to feel that many of y'all might already start having that judgment that ye baith ke show off kar rahi hai, this that. But guys, genuinely the things which have happened to me in the past 6 months was something which I have never ever expected would ever happen to me. Like in the sense, it's more like a dream come true for me already, even though I have just started many things which I'll be talking about in the rest of the video. Still, I personally feel that this was something which I never thought I would be able to do. Because as a child, my personality, all the things that I have done, everything, it has not been in accordance to what I have been doing right now. So I never even imagined myself to get where I am right now. So before we get started guys, just a little bit of just a very small request, something which is totally free of cost. Please subscribe to my channel. I am really working towards making this community into a bigger audience. Although there's one problem which I have with myself as well, that I named my channel Niyoshi Yoga and I'm barely posting content related to yoga, so probably that's why many of y'all might be reluctant to subscribe, that she's just exposing her personal life, this, that, not posting anything informative. Guys, we've just gotten started. Content is coming up soon. But before all that, please subscribe to my channel. So whenever I keep this towards the end of the video, most of the times I forget. So right now I'm telling y'all, go and subscribe. Thank you. So just a small background about my childhood. So currently I'm 19 years old and I'm soon going to be turning 20 in the next month. Technically, no, on 7th of August, so don't forget to wish me. Yeah, so I'm soon going to be turning 20 now this year. Just a little bit background so that y'all can connect with me more. I have already posted a video before, like the second video which I posted about my journey so far. So in that as well, I have mentioned many things about myself and my childhood. Just in case if y'all haven't seen that, go watch that. So as a child, a very lethargic person to get things into action. Always used to keep planning things in my mind. I used to be little ambitious, but I never materialized all the things which were in my mind. So right now in my later teens, everything is coming together and now I'm just like, yo baby, you have to go ahead with your life now. So that's what I have been doing. Moving on to the first thing which I accomplished. So I'm going to start with the tiny accomplishments and then I'm going to move on to the bigger achievements which I personally feel have been very big for me. Many of y'all might feel these are just very tiny things. You know, not such a big deal for me. I'm not going to watch this video. But guys, personally, very big things for me. Okay, so the first one is I completed 1 year of teaching yoga at the studio space which I rented. So yes guys, this 1 year, like only at the studio, but before that I have been doing like practicing personal training with my friends and family, just the close relatives, to gain that level of confidence. But it has been 1 year since I've started taking studio classes. So I'm teaching at a studio space which is very close to my house and I've rented that space out. And I conduct all my sessions over there, my Hatha and Vinyasa yoga classes as well as my aerial yoga classes. And the aerial yoga is going to be the next point, so just wait for that. So in terms of, so I got started with my Hatha and Vinyasa yoga classes, and before that I had done my certification from Mysore in Ashtanga Vinyasa yoga. And after that I still continued to practice a little bit of personal training with my close relatives, and then I moved on to renting this space out. And the struggle has been real, you guys, especially for the first 6 months. I have been under so much stress. Like I had barely just turned 18. I think I've started at a pretty good time where I've gotten a lot of clarity about what I want to do and how I want to go ahead with my life. So getting back to the first point, the first 6 months have been a struggle because I am studying in a college where my academics cannot be given second priority to. Because, you know, like I'm studying commerce right now, just in case if you guys don't know, I haven't mentioned this before, I think. I'm studying commerce right now and the career path which I'm following is completely different from that. It's not even like 2% related. It's not even what I'm studying right now in college. It's not even a bit related to what my industry should be. And when I took my admission that time, I did not think it through as deeply. Because when the admission process was going on, all the things, I firstly had not decided anything. I just left it to my family to decide that just put me wherever I get. And what had happened that my 12th grade board exam had gotten cancelled back then because I'm in the 2003 batch. So my 12th grade board exam got cancelled, so I left the whole thing to just, I did not think it through. I just let my family decide that whatever is the best backup plan, let's take my commitments in terms of attendance, in terms of, studying, in terms of, really being prepared. Otherwise, they fail you very easily and you have to again and again reappear for the exams. So I have been very diligent in terms of that, and I have been very disciplined when it comes to academics, because I haven't, I genuinely, guys, I really don't have the strength to give exams second time. I cannot do that. After I study something, I have to give the paper, I have to finish it off. I cannot afford to fail. I cannot afford to study the same things again and then reappear for it. No, I cannot do that. And very thankfully, and I'm extremely grateful that I have been able to do that so far. So now I have just come in my third year of undergrad college. So moving on, that was one of the major points because of which the first 6 months were a struggle. The second thing is that because I was not being able to manage the academic and the, yoga related commitments. The second thing was that I took up the pressure, because as I mentioned that I'm on rentals, it's not a space which I own. So because of which I came into a lot of monetary and a lot of financial stress, because back then, like, my classes had just started and I didn't have so many students, guys. Like, I barely had like 1 or 2 people, and from that one person was like my aunt, who has been a major support to me, by the way. She was actually my first student, so she registered for my classes for the initial 3 months so that I get that little bit head start monetary wise, so that I can pay off the rent. And back then I was actually running in losses, because I used to remove more money from my pocket compared to what I was getting in return. So that was one of the things, and for the first 6 months this actually went on for. And back then I didn't even have the knowledge of how to expand, how to grow. My only target was that I would just want to break even now. Like, I cannot manage losses, I just want to break even, that's it. That was my only mindset. Even after getting that money, you guys, it was not the kind of money which I used to save. Like, even if I used to get half of the money and half of it I had to pay for the studio, then I even that money I focused on reinvesting it back on myself and on yoga overall, on my own practice, which eventually helped me, get a lot of people later on, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very grateful to each and every student of mine to spread a word around in this area. So my studio is based in Santa Cruz West, and I'm very grateful to each and every one of them. And even right now, I'm seeing that most of them are so consistent and so regular with their practice, and they are so disciplined, and I can see a clear progress from where they had started and what they are right now. Back then also, even when I used to get like one new registration for my classes, I used to get so happy, you guys. I used to celebrate that day, like, not by spending money or anything. I used to really, I'm not the biggest fan of journaling, but deep inside I've always liked staying in front of the camera. So I used to take these short videos on my phone that, I'm so excited. I don't think anyone knows about this. This is a secret. So now I'm telling everyone. So I used to take these short videos of how I used to feel and things like that. So I think in some way that has helped me being so open to you guys on YouTube right now. Many people find it very difficult. That's a personal choice, but people do find it difficult to come this way in front of the camera. So yeah, I think that was one thing. Although I deleted those clips because it used to take a lot of data on my phone, yeah. And back then I didn't really want to, I had become very miser in between, you guys. Like, I'm not even kidding. I used to not even spend like a single penny extra than what I'm supposed to. So after that, it just flowed, and after that, I just kept expanding, I kept growing, and I kept expanding in the sense I kept increasing the number of days I was taking sessions, because I was seeing that my students were enjoying, they were seeing the progress in themselves, and it was motivating me as a teacher. I never saw this to be like a business. It was always more like a I've always loved the sense of having a community, and I've always loved the idea of me sharing my knowledge about something that I've always loved to do, something which I'm good at, to other people. So I think this was what it was all about in this past 1 year. Moving on to accomplishment number 2. This is, I have already mentioned this in the previous point, introducing aerial yoga. Yes, you guys, this was something which I have been wanting to introduce teaching before I even started teaching yoga, before I even knew, I had already started practicing silks back then, But I had never thought in my mind that I would ever be able to teach this form anytime soon. And thankfully aerial yoga, comparatively, it came much easier to me because I had started with silks, and that challenged me even more. So I always felt that that is something which I will have to practice for a lot of years to master, and then I will be able to pass on that knowledge in terms of aerial silks. But in terms of aerial yoga, it was like it was the perfect form for me because it was the best amalgamation of yoga and aerial silks. So I was already very, like, I was experienced in terms of the asana practice in yoga, and I had been practicing silk. So when I got into aerial yoga, I just immediately I got into the rhythm of it. So I just got the confidence instantly to be able to teach this form. And I did not actually start teaching instantly. I practiced a lot for a couple of months after I did my first teacher's training in aerial yoga. And even that has been a lovely teacher's training, which really helped me build my confidence. So that was something which was really nice. And I even practiced with them after my teacher's training got over. And then I came back home, and then I used to practice over here. I've even installed a hammock right up the ceiling over here. So I used to keep practicing. And then I think 7 to 8 months after that, I introduced those sessions in the studio space where I'm teaching right now in Santa Cruz. So that has been my accomplishment number 2. And very thankfully, the response for it, because of my background, because of my base in yoga, because so many people knew that I was already teaching yoga, and so many people were practicing yoga with me back then. Aerial yoga, I got, and I'm very thankful for that I got a lot of registrations from the first month itself, that I have been houseful for aerial yoga ever since the first month since I have been teaching, and I'm so grateful for that. And I don't think I could be more thankful. I mean, it was something very unexpectedly which came to me, because I always felt that I will have to struggle in aerial the way I struggled with yoga for the first 6 months. I'll have to go through it all over again and things like that. But I'm very grateful that my existing students also showed a lot of, enthusiasm towards this form, and they were really willing to learn more. And then they kept spreading a word around in the area, and it's just where it is now. I'm so happy to hear that. Although I don't consider myself, guys, please, I don't consider myself to be the best teacher in terms of aerial or yoga, nothing of that sort. I'm just very thankful to where I am right now. And even my process of learning is going to keep growing along with the journey, along with what I share with the rest of the world. So because of the increasing response for aerial yoga and things like that, and definitely number one, because I'm so passionate about this form and about yoga overall and about aerial so much, about all these circus arts forms. So I decided to do my further training in aerial yoga in Goa, for which I've posted many vlogs before this. So please do have a look at it. So that's why I did my further training in aerial yoga, and I did my further certification, for which I went to Goa, and that has been wonderful as well. So many new learnings. It was like a proper level up compared to what I had done before. And I personally love exploring with new teachers, even in terms of yoga, because I love to gain knowledge from all directions. I'm not the kind of person who will ever just learn from one person, because all of us have something new to offer. So I would love to keep exploring. Every year I plan to do something new, not a new form exactly, or to level up in what I have been doing already. So my yoga practice has been constant, but in terms of aerial, it's very hard to find my kind of teachers, the teachers who I click with in the city. So once in a while I have decided I will keep going to different cities, and I'll keep learning from different teachers. Possibly, if I can afford it, I'll go abroad as well. Let's hope anytime soon. For that, please help me grow this community, guys. Now moving on to accomplishment number 3. This one is something which is going to make 5 years younger Niyoshi feel so much proud. Like, guys, trust me. So the accomplishment is I hit 10K on Instagram. So this was, I think, just 2 or 3 months back. And this has been a big one for me, guys. Guys, I'm not even kidding. I've properly celebrated with this achievement with my close ones. I've cut a cake and things like that, all those cute, cheesy things. But this was something which I think I always wanted. And even as a child, I might have always, loved the idea of having a community, having, many people feel that, fake people, fake followers, this, that means nothing. No, guys, it's not that. it definitely means something, and it definitely adds that some value to your life, that yes, there are people who are acknowledging you, there are people who are appreciating the efforts which you are putting. So I'm not in any way, I'm not trying to tell you all that it's not good to be independent, it's not good to be self-sufficient, it's not that what I'm talking about, but it's just a feel good, it's just a feel good aspect in your life which many people admire. So I think this is something which I have always admired. So that's why probably, even though 10K is not that bigger number, it's like a very small micro influencer, but still for me it's big, because from what it has been before, I think it's a very good achievement for me right now. And just to mention one more point, guys, I have none of them are fake followers. They're very authentic, and I haven't bought followers from anyone, or haven't bought any kind of engagement on Instagram, because I've understood one thing, that if you respect the platform respects you back in return. So I have not done anything unethical in terms of social media, this, that. I've never done any of those things to boost my engagement, because I know if I'm good enough, people will follow me. So that's the motto which I have been going with all this while. So I just keep focusing on bettering myself each day, constantly, constant learnings and constant motivations, constant efforts, it's all the accumulation of that. Moving on to the next one. The next one is overcoming my fear of stage fright. So I don't think I'm there yet, but I think I'm really consciously putting that effort to get better at it, because as a child I've always loved public speaking. I've always admired that when other people do that, and I have always, taken them as my, like inspirational and my life models, the people who really know how to put themselves up on the platforms, on the social media platforms, or, speak in front of a large crowd and do a lot of public speaking. I've always admired that, something which I've always looked up to. And even in my family, my dad, my mom, they are very good public speakers. So my mom is into singing, my dad loves doing comparing and things like that. They have a lovely sense of humor, they have a lot of, emotions when it comes to them speaking publicly. So that is something which I've always admired. But as a child as well, I've never had the confidence, honestly. More than public speaking skills, I think maybe to the back of my mind I always had that, but I never had the confidence, because I was insecure about a lot of things which I had as a child. So that's why probably I had all of those resistances to put myself up there. But right now, at this age and the profession which I'm doing, it's all about the public speaking. It's all about being able to connect with the audience that is, in front of you, the audience which is looking up to you. So lately, to get over this fear, the things which I have been doing are like, so even right now, I think only in terms of yoga, I can speak with the rest of the world. But when it comes to other things, no guys, it's not good. If you, for example, if you just put me up on stage and if you just tell me to speak one paragraph about how my day has been, I'm just gonna freeze. I'm gonna really mess up big time. And I have, as a child, I used to do the same things. I used to put myself up there. Even when I was not prepared, I used to mess up. I have messed up in the past. I still have that tendency to mess up. But right now, I'm consciously putting that effort. So right now, lately, I have been having family programs, things like that. So I see to it that I take up some or the other responsibilities, some or the other thing, which helps me to come up on stage and me speaking on the stage up there. Now, in terms of yoga, I have been having a lot of opportunities to put myself up there and to teach a bigger crowd. So even in terms of that, it would, if it was 5 years older Niyoshi, 5 to 6 years older Niyoshi, I wouldn't have taken that kind of a responsibility up. But now I'm consciously putting that effort, that I'm pushing myself to go there and to do that. So I think this is something which I have really leveled up. And in addition to that, even YouTube is something which I have been procrastinating about since over a year. And I finally got the courage to come up on this platform and to talk in general and make an audience out of this and, really connect with the people who are in front of me. So even in terms of that, it was a big call for me, but I just decided that, yeah, babe, you want to get there, you have to get started now. You cannot delay this further. And there is no point delaying it further, you guys. It's all about just putting yourself out there and seeing what's going to happen next. It's okay if you make a fool out of yourself, you guys. Nobody is going to remember. Today's news is tomorrow's trash. Finally, moving on to the last point. I learned how to create a good balance between my work, between my education, and between my social life. So this is something which I have been, I have never been a good multitasker, guys. I have always, removed one thing from my life, got a new thing. So this is something which I have even experienced in terms of my family, that even my parents, they have been very socially connected, and they have a lot of friends and a lot of social groups and a lot of things that, and a lot of activities that they do which involve, being in a community, being surrounded by people. And I personally feel that personally, it's just a personal opinion, that I want something like that for myself as well. I would be happy to have a lot of people around me in the future. That doesn't change the fact that, it's okay if you don't want to hang out with a certain set of people. I'm never going to push myself being with a set of people who I'm not meant to be with or who I don't connect with. But it's always good to have a sense of community. That's why I decided, that is also one of the things why I have been so gravitated towards the yoga, towards the fitness, towards the performing arts industry, because I don't know, it just feels like me and myself, and it's something which makes me feel very happy about myself. But in addition to this, I also have another point to discuss, that when you come across people, even if they're extremely close to you, guys, you should never have the set of friends who hold you back in any way. You should always have those kinds of people who appreciate, who respect, who like the things that you do, who admire you in certain way, and they show their acknowledgement, who show their respect towards the things that you do. They choose to give you the space which you need in order to do the things which you really want to accomplish. So this could be in terms of relationships, it could be in terms of friendships. So I personally have, even recently, I might have experienced a lot of, areas where even my close ones, I felt I'm being held back in a certain way. So if I see a lot of, after several discussions, after a lot of things, if I feel that this individual is not adding a lot of value to my life, or is holding me back in some or the other way, then I choose to disconnect. And guys, it is okay to say no. It is fine. It's okay to disconnect from the people. It's okay to prioritize yourself first over the people who come later on, because it's your life in the end. You born alone, you die alone. So you do the things which make you feel happy. Life is not that long that you have all the time in the world to be there for everyone. Along with that, if you're a good multitasker, then lovely, that's excellent, that's the ideal life which many people would want to live. But still, guys, it's not something which you should. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I know I have only covered 5 accomplishments, but I really didn't realize that I'm going to end up rambling so much and getting so much in depth about each and every point which I'm going to discuss. So I'm going to create a part 1 and a part 2. Probably even, I don't even know how long this video is going to turn out to be, because I have been recording since the past half an hour to 45 minutes. So I don't know, I'll have to really edit, delete. But let's leave all that. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Stay tuned for the next video. And please subscribe to my channel.